Hey, how are you doing? So today I'm going to discuss about report writing. Now, this is something which many of you have shown interest to learn a bit about, and I also think it to be very essential to understand because in the world of financial analysis, two things gets to be very critical at a base level. To one needs to develop skills on. One is financial modeling, and the other is your ability to draft a report, right? Because whatever you do, whether it's into equity research, project finance, credit analysis, your credit rating, mergers, acquisition, due diligence, everywhere you need to do this two fundamental aspects. I mean to say, you need to work on these two aspects. One is building a model, and the other is drafting a report, right? So this video is with that perspective. So let's look into it and let us learn few things in the process. And one thing I would like to say that there are quite a number of things which I intend to discuss around report writing, which I don't intend to fit it in one video. So there would be, I'm not sure how many videos it would take me to cover this entire aspect, which I have it in mind. So this is today's video is going to be just the first piece of it. And in the consecutive videos, I'll be covering the rest of the part, right? So let's dig deep into this. Just give me a second. Yeah. So let us understand, as with everything, there are certain basic fundamental aspects one need to have a very clear understanding about, right? And that goes for report writing as well. So what are those fundamental axioms of report writing? Let us understand that. So some realities we need to be having sense around is that report writing is a mix of science and art, right? So there is a science element and there is a art element to it. So your ability to write great reports obviously is going to develop over a period of time. It may not be the best at the very first instance, because with more maturity and experience of writing, your work would get better, right? So that's the art part of it. But then there is a science part of it which we all need to understand as to how we should approach towards the report writing exercise, right? Which I'll discuss on. So unfortunately, most of us perceive it as a tough mechanical exercise, right? And that is something which I'm trying to make it easy for you in through these videos. So effective report writing entails stepping into the shoes of the reader. This is very, very important, that you have to get a sense as to what the reader would like to be informed about, what message they are interested to get communicated on, right? So you have to place yourself in the shoes of the reader, and that is very, very critical when you are working towards drafting a report. So keep this thing in mind. So it means looking at the document from the eyes of the reader. So another very important thing is that the packaging and optics of your report is as important as, if it's not more important than, its technical content. So it's very important that it's visually placed well, so that it appeals more to the reader to go through the report and consume a piece of information or insight that you are trying to place across. So it's very important that you pay heed to this, right? So how the report is looking, how the formatting is, how the structuring is, everything is gets to be very, very important. So there are certain myths about report writing. That is, effective report writing means use of flowery, pretentious language. That's not the case. So we need to keep it in mind that simple language communicates the message clearly without any confusion. So we need to be very have this understanding very clear, that we need to keep our language simple so that the other person can really understand what we are trying to communicate, right? Now, effective report writing is equal to communicating the content unambiguously to the intended recipient in the simplest possible manner, in the simplest possible language, and in the shortest possible space. So this is something which you need to keep in mind, right? It has to be in simple possible manner, in very simple words, so that the other person can really understand what you're trying to communicate, in simplest possible language, and in the shortest possible space. So today we are bogged up with a lot of information. There's so much of information around, right? So we need to be very crisp so that we can the other person really enjoys and don't get overwhelmed with too much of information that you are trying to place across, right? Now, to draft a report effectively, I would have to devote loads of time. So that's a thought process that many people have, which is not the case. So a clear thought process with optimal planning plus some simple steps, that is equal to effective report writing. So that is what I would like to speak about in this video and the upcoming videos. So you need to have a clear thought process with some level of planning and some execution in terms of simple steps that would lead you to effective report writing, right? So now it's very important for from a report writing perspective that at the end of the day, a report, through a report, you are trying to communicate something, right? So there are 9 C's of communication which we need to be aware of. So the first one is it has to be very clear. Whatever message you are trying to place across, whatever understanding you are trying to place across to the reader, it has to be very clear. It has to be concise. As I said, there is too much of information overload into this world, so it has to be concise so that the person gets to understand that this is what you are trying to convey. It has to be concrete, right? It has to be solid. Like it shouldn't be like that the person get more questions and those questions are left unanswered, right? That sort of a thing shouldn't happen. It should be correct, obviously. It should be coherent, so there should be a flow, right? In terms of what you are writing, it should have like there should be a flow between one paragraph and the other paragraph that you are placing across. It should be complete and it should be courteous, right? There, it shouldn't hurt the sentiments of anyone. Those set of things you should be taking care of. It should be credible, obviously. Yeah, whatever research you are doing, you need to ensure that you are sourcing the piece of data points or the information from credible sources, right? So that is very important, and a bit of creativity always works, right? So a bit of creativity to bring that flavor in the set of things that you are trying to place across, that is definitely going to work great, right? So keep this thing in mind, the 9 C's of communication. Now there are 7 steps that I would discuss about which you need to follow while drafting every report that you draft, right? So, step 1 is understand what is the deliverable and its commercial purpose. This step will help you determine the depth of research required and the likely contents which would flow into your report. So, guys, please understand that for see, at the end of the day, when you're working in an organization and drafting a report, there is a reason as to why you are doing so, right? So there is a commercial reason behind it. Now, obviously, the effort that you are placing across for I have done reports which has been sold, let's say, 50 lakh rupees, and there are reports which has gone for 2 lakh, 3 lakh rupees also, right? So uh, am I going to give the same amount of effort, energy, and time to both the reports? Obviously not, right? So we need to understand what is the commercial angle behind the report that is getting placed, and so that will help us to assess the depth of research that is required in this context, right? And when we are clear as to this is the level of depth of research that we need to do, then we can understand what are the likely contents that has to be placed across in the report. So step 1 is to get a real understanding as to what is the commercial aspects which is aligned to this report. So have detailed discussions with the client or party concerned. Be fully satisfied about what you are required to do and then move ahead. This is very important that you need to have a very clear understanding as to what the client or the party who is actually looking for the report, what is their expectation, and then you should move ahead working on that, right? The second step is ask yourself what all you need to look for or research. Also draw a short plan on paper with timelines as to how you are going to draft the report, right? So you have to find out sources and means to when you're drafting the report as to where from I'm going to source the pieces of information. So for that you need to start on with making a short plan for yourself and give those timelines to those individual elements on which you need to work, right? Because if you don't have a timeline, then that research would get uh, endless, right? But then that's not something that you can do. There is a timeline within which you need to complete the report. So that defining the timelines gets to be very important. The step 3 is research and find out all the information necessary. Prepare yourself for the management discussion, site visit, make a list of everything you need to ask or look at when you meet the management team or visit the site. So in certain case of reports, um, those may be back-end reports just on the basis of secondary research, but there may be reports where you need to do primary research as well, where you need to meet certain clients, meet certain section of people, the management. You need to do site visits. So you need to have a proper structure for your ease in terms of executing on the report, right? So that planning has to be very, very clearly placed across. Then comes the step 4. So conceptualize a written summary of what shall go into the report. So first prepare the summary, work on the summary section, which could be a 3 to 4 page summary for say a 80 to 100 page report that you are coming up with. So the flow and content gets frozen here. You now know how your report would broadly look like even before you have started drafting it, right? So work on the summary part first, for which is goes to around about 3 to 4 pages. Once you have that clarity that these are the constituents, this is going to be the flow in which I'm going to place across the report, then start working on the proper report, right? So work on the summary piece first. Then comes the fifth step, that is ask your approving senior who to spare 15 to 20 minutes so that you can quickly discuss the structure of the report which you have conceptualized on the step 4 with him or her before you commence the final drafting. This will save loads of time for all concerned, get his or her buy-in on what you intend putting into the report, right? So always keep your senior in loop in terms of when you are working on the report, and get their buy-in, because if they have some different views and you start working on the report, then again there would be a lot of rework that would come up, right? Which is not something that is going to be of benefit to you, right? So all get that buy-in coming up from your senior, and then start working on the full report. Then step 6 is draft the skeleton of the report. Put all the headings first. You could also consider getting the diagrams and tables and pie charts and whatever charts you want to place. So get that structure first, then actually start working on the writing part of it, right? So get the headlines done first, then the design in terms of what are the charts or tables or different stuff that you would like to put across, diagrams, so that it gives you a skeleton around things, right? And then the step 7, that populate the content. Now you are focusing only on the articulation of your report, since the complete framework is already in front of you as a byproduct of step number 4, 5, and 6. So these are the 7 steps that one needs to follow in context of drafting of the report, right? So keep these things in mind, guys. So now uh, you need to focus on 3 set of readings of your draft report before handing it over to your approving senior. So as you end the work, don't just directly take that work to your seniors, right? It is a mistake which many people do. And when you are allocating time, ensure that when you are working within timelines, you keep a certain section of the time just to do these 3 readings. Now, which are those 3 readings I'm referring to? So the first reading is you will pick up in the first reading. So once you are going about with the first reading, you'll see you'll pick up some apparent errors which has come up. So you have to clarify those, correct those. Second reading is a second time when you would be reading through, you'll pick up involved errors like grammars and articulation linked with that. I'll make a separate video around grammar at a separate point of time, right? So there's the second reading, and when you go about with the third reading, you'll make qualitative changes to the document on the lines discussed, right? So ensure that these at least you have the time to go through the reports at least 3 times before you actually place it across to your senior, right? So this is the best practice in the industry. Now I'll speak about something which is related to the active voice or passive voice when you are writing those reports. So use active voice except in cases where use of passive voice is inevitable, right? So which are those situations? So where you want to avoid highlighting or referring to the subject. So say in active voice, so what I said over here is use active voice except in cases where use of passive voice is inevitable. So it's always better to write in active voice. That is what is preferable, right? So in active voice, suppose we write, we studied and analyzed the financial information from the audited annual reports of the company, both standalone and consolidated, for a 3 years period. This is a statement that you placed across, right? But suppose if you are trying to avoid highlighting or referring to the subject, then you can write it in passive voice in like financial information from the audited annual reports of the company was studied and analyzed for a 3 years period, right? So this is the way you have to place across in terms of active voice and passive voice in this context where you want to avoid highlighting referring to the subject. The second one is when active voice sounds rude. So suppose in context of active voice, if it is like you have written, please note that auditors have drawn attention to note 15 of the financial statements pertaining to investment in these holdings where a significant portion has been written off in the previous years. So it sounds a bit rude, right? The way you're placing the words. So over there, you can write it in this manner that it may be noted that auditors have drawn attention to note 15 of the financial statements pertaining to investment, and the rest of the thing remains the same. So this is where it is the other place where you can write in passive voice. And the third is when active voice creates monotony due to repeated usage in close proximity, right? So let me give an example. So active voice in close proximity is like the group controls its activities from its corporate office located at Mumbai. At present, it has several offices in India and across the globe. In the United States of America, United Kingdom, Europe, Asia Pacific, and Middle East, the company is making efforts to expand its presence into new geographies which are seeing an uptick in offshoring. So this is how it is in close proximity. Now, how you break the monotony? So the first sentence almost remains the same, but over here you write it as like further conscious efforts are being made by the company to expand its presence into new geographies which are seeing an uptick in offshoring. So these are subtleties which you have to place when you are drafting the report. I'll discuss many more things as we move forward, but this is the first set of things which I wanted to discuss in context of report writing in this video. And the last is when passive voice sounds better than active voice, go by your gut feeling, right? Nothing better than gut feeling. If you feel that the way you are placing across in passive voice is sounding better, then please go ahead and with passive voice, right? So these are the few pointers which I wanted to discuss in this video in context of report writing. I hope you like it. I hope you got some value in the process, and if you have liked it, please give a like and subscribe. If you're in the YouTube channel, subscribe to the YouTube channel, give a like, and if you have any question, you can place it in the comment section, right? See you in the next video. Thanks a lot.